Hello, this is Mr. Shah. Today we're going to be talking about how to distinguish among atoms using something called the periodic table. So what exactly is a periodic table? The periodic table is actually a tool, and it's a tool just like a chef would use for cooking something or a carpenter would use to build something. The periodic table is a tool for chemists that gives information about elements, and that can be used to learn more about chemistry. So this is our periodic table, and it has a lot of colors on it, has a lot of symbols, a lot of numbers, and it can be very daunting and scary to look at if you don't know what it means. But each of the things means something, and it's very useful. So our periodic table is actually arranged by atomic number. The atomic number is the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom for every element. If you recall from the last video, we know that the nucleus is made up of neutrons and protons. The atomic number corresponds just to the proton. So if we look at hydrogen on the periodic table, the atomic number would be this 1, the number without the decimal. So this hydrogen atom would have 1 proton because the atomic number is 1. For carbon on the periodic table, the atomic number, the number without a decimal, is 6. So the carbon would have 6 protons. In the last video, we talked about how each element has a different number of protons and electrons and neutrons. The key thing to understand here is that the number of protons will be different for each element. The number of protons will be unique to each element. And the number of protons will never change. The number of protons will never change. So the other number, the number with the decimal, is called the mass number. And the mass number is the number of protons plus neutrons in the nucleus of the atom. And it's important to realize that the mass number represents both protons and neutrons. And so to find the number of neutrons by itself, all you have to do is take the mass number and subtract it by the number of protons, which we also learned from the last slide is the atomic number. So for carbon, your mass number is going to be 12.011. That's this number down here. Your atomic number is going to be 6. That's the number without the decimal. So to find neutrons, all you have to do is take the mass number and subtract it by the protons, which is also the atomic number. So we take the mass number, which is 12, and we subtract it by the atomic number, which is 6, and we get 6 neutrons for carbon. So what about electrons? We talked about protons, we talked about neutrons. What about electrons? Electrons are kind of easy. For a neutral atom, and we're only going to talk about neutral atoms for now. We'll talk about not neutral atoms later. But for a neutral atom, the number of electrons equals the number of protons. Very simple. The number of electrons equals the number of protons. So for carbon, the atomic number is 6 right here. So there are 6 protons, and then that means there are 6 electrons in a neutral atom of carbon. So our objective was to be able to use the periodic table to determine the number of subatomic particles in different elements. To review, when we want to find protons, we know we have to look at the atomic number. For neutrons, we know we have to take the mass number and subtract it by number of protons, which is also the atomic number. And to find electrons, for a neutral atom, electrons equal number of protons, which again is the atomic number. So this should help you with tomorrow's work and activity. Thank you for listening. See you in class tomorrow.